I always thought growing old meant slowing down, not being erased. After 45 years in the mill, I finally retired, thinking I'd spend my last good years surrounded by family, grandkids, maybe a little fishing. Instead, my house was emptied, my accounts drained, and the people I loved most, my own blood, were the ones who did it. But life has a funny way of paying back debts. Because the day the bank called, everything changed. They thought they buried me, but all they did was wake me up. My name's Frank Lawson, I'm 68 years old, and I live in a small town outside Cleveland, Ohio. Used to be a steelworker, 45 years, same mill, same whistle, same grind. These days, my mornings are quiet. I sit on my porch with a cup of black coffee, watch the sun hit the old rusted trucks rolling down Route 14, and listen to country radio from the 80s. It's peaceful, mostly. Too peaceful, sometimes. Inside my house, the walls are covered with pictures, my wife Maggie, God rest her soul, and our two kids, Jason and Emily. I used to look at those photos and feel proud. Now, I look at them and wonder where it all went wrong. I never had much, but I worked for every dollar. Raised my kids to believe in loyalty, honesty, and respect. Guess I forgot to tell them that respect goes both ways. Funny thing about family, you never think they'll turn on you until they do. When Maggie passed 5 years ago, everything slowed down. The house got too quiet, and the kids started talking about helping Dad get organized. Jason, my oldest, he's 40 now, works in finance, drives one of those shiny SUVs. Always said, Dad, you gotta keep up with the times. Emily, my girl, she's kind, but she lets her brother do the talking. Jason started managing my bills, setting up online accounts. Said it'd make life easier. I trusted him. I mean, he's my son. He told me, just sign these papers, Dad, it's just for convenience, so I can pay your utilities when you forget. I laughed. I'm not senile yet, son. He laughed too, but something in his eyes felt cold. A few months later, I noticed strange things, letters from the bank about authorizations, automatic withdrawals I didn't recognize. When I asked Jason, he'd roll his eyes. Dad, it's just digital stuff, you wouldn't understand. That line stuck with me, you wouldn't understand. Like age turns you into a fool overnight. I gave my whole life to that boy. Missed birthdays, missed sleep, working double shifts so he could have a college degree. And now, he couldn't even look me in the eye. It happened on a Thursday. Cold morning, March rain. I went to the bank to cash a small check from the mill's pension office, but the teller's smile faded. She typed, paused, looked up carefully, Mr. Lawson, your retirement account has been closed. Transferred to another name, 6 months ago. My hand started shaking. That can't be right, I said. She printed the papers. There it was, Jason Lawson, listed as power of attorney. Apparently, I'd signed it over. I remember that day, Sunday lunch at Emily's place. Jason brought papers, said they were just updates for insurance. I signed. Never thought twice. When I called him, his voice was calm. Cold. Dad, it's for your own good. You're not great with money. I'm making sure you're taken care of. I said, by taking everything I own? He sighed, you're overreacting, Dad. You're old. You wouldn't understand how finances work now. I drove home with tears in my eyes, the kind you don't let fall, because men like me were taught not to cry. But that night, sitting in my empty house, I did. Outside, rain hit the porch roof, and I whispered, you handled me right out of my own life. The next morning, I shaved, put on my best jacket, and went back to the bank. I asked for a woman named Martha, the manager, a kind face, mid-50s, with the same polite smile Maggie used to have. I told her everything. Showed her the papers, the transfers. She frowned. Mr. Lawson, she said softly, you might not know this, but your wife had a separate joint account opened before 2005. I blinked. What account? She handed me a printout. The balance was more than I'd ever seen in my life. Apparently, Maggie had been saving quietly from her own work shifts at the textile plant. Compound interest had done its magic. She'd hidden it, maybe to surprise me one day, or to protect me if things ever went wrong. And in that moment, something inside me straightened. The old steel in my spine, the same grit that built factories and raised families, came back. You took what I earned, Jason, I muttered, but you'll never touch what she saved. I didn't rush. Old men don't rush. We plan. Over the next few weeks, I started something new. I bought the old corner store downtown, the one where Maggie and I had our first date 40 years ago. With Martha's help, I fixed it up. Cleaned the windows, repainted the sign, hired a few local vets who needed work. I called it Maggie's Corner Cafe. The town noticed. Old coworkers dropped by, neighbors helped repaint, even the local news wrote a story about the steelman who started over. Meanwhile, Jason started calling. Then texting. Then emailing. Dad, what are you doing? We need to talk, there's confusion about the accounts. Are you okay? I didn't answer. Emily called too, crying, saying Jason was in trouble, that the IRS was asking questions. Turns out, when you take what isn't yours, life finds a way to balance the books. And me? I just kept smiling. They thought I was out of moves. They forgot, I built my life 1 inch of steel at a time. I wasn't done yet. 2 months later, we held the cafe's grand opening. The mayor came, the local paper, even the pastor from our church. People laughed, clapped, took photos by the new sign, Maggie's Corner, built on love, not greed. Right in the middle of the crowd, Jason and Emily walked in. They looked small, nervous. Jason's voice cracked, Dad, can we talk privately? I looked at him and said, you can talk right here, son. These people? They're my family now. He stammered, trying to explain. But Martha stepped forward, calm and firm. Mr. Lawson, she said, your accounts are secure. The investigation into your son's transfers is complete. The crowd went quiet. Jason's face went pale. He whispered, Dad, please, don't do this. I leaned in close. You did this, son. You took everything from your father to feel powerful. Now look who's powerless. Then I turned to the crowd. Folks, I said, my wife used to say you don't measure a man by his bank account, but by what he builds with his heart. This cafe, this is her legacy, and I'm proud to share it with you. Applause filled the air. Jason left in silence, Emily crying behind him. For the first time in years, I felt alive. That night, I sat on my porch again, same coffee, same creaking chair. Only difference was the light across the street, my cafe, glowing softly in the dark. The smell of fresh pie drifted through the air, mixed with autumn leaves. I looked up and said, we did it, Maggie. I thought I'd lost everything. Turns out, I just lost the things that never really mattered. People think revenge is about getting even. But it's not. It's about getting back what they tried to take, your pride, your peace, your dignity. And sometimes, the best revenge is just living well enough that they have to watch. If you're watching this right now and someone's taken advantage of you, don't give up. You're not done. Experience isn't weakness, it's your weapon. We may be old, but we're not blind. And dignity? It doesn't retire. Tell me in the comments, what would you have done in my place? Would you forgive them, or rebuild your own peace? This is Frank Lawson, and this was my story. Thank you for listening. Subscribe if you believe in second chances, and in standing tall, no matter how old you are.